You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, Bold and the Beautiful fans. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and I want to talk about what happens after Eric Forrester dies, presuming he really does die. What happens with the family business and the family mansion where he now lives with Donna Logan? Let's talk about those shares of stock, the deed to the family estate, and lots more. And hey, please click subscribe if you haven't already. First, we're going to talk about the mansion. So, of course, this was the longtime home of the original Stephanie Forrester and Eric Forrester. And when she died, he became the sole owner of the handsome estate. It features a main house, a nice pool, and a guest house that's also seen a fair amount of action. And right now, Donna Logan lives in the mansion with Eric. I'm trying to remember. I think Zende still lives there. I know he did. I just can't recall if he moved out. I think he was talking about sharing a place with Paris, and then she ended up sharing it with Thomas. I think Zende's still there. But it's legally solely Eric Forrester's property. Now, Donna has been with him a while, and she's living with him like she's his wife, but they are not legally married. And in California, in case you didn't know, they do not recognize common law marriages in most cases. The only exception is if you lived in another state where common law marriage is recognized and considered legal, and you were considered common law married in that state. And there's only 7 states plus Washington, D.C. that recognize it. So you were common law married in one of those 8 places, and then you moved to L.A. or moved to California. That's the only way it's recognized. So the common law argument will not keep Donna in the house if Eric dies and somebody else wants to move in. But I do wonder if Eric's going to marry Donna before he dies for a couple of reasons. 1, he wants her taken care of once he passes away. And 2, he loves her for being there with him to the bitter end. And he may want the house in her hands or his shares of the company in her hands. I mean, already Eric Forrester started planning his funeral party, basically. Of course, he is going to tell the rest of his family that it's about celebrating his last collection and the fashion challenge win, but they know he's dying. And now he's basically throwing himself awake, a last hurrah, since he won't be there to see everyone at his funeral. It's a little morbid, but hey, it's his life, it's his death. And as much as he can control how he goes, he should get to. So I wonder if there's a chance at the party he'll surprise Donna with an officiant and marry her on the spot. It'd be kind of amazing if he did that and immediately collapsed. But the party is supposed to kick off next week. I think late next week. I'm waiting on a few more pieces of spoiler info. But I don't think Eric's going to collapse in a fatal way this month anyway, because I've seen some behind the scenes photos at Bold with the Christmas decor up, and John McCook is on the set as Eric. Merrick Teller, a foreign journalist, was on set and posted a few photos, and there's one right here for you. It was all set up for Christmas with stockings on the mantle, Eric and Donna's names, and it looks like there's a third stocking there too, so maybe for Zende. So I still think there's a chance Eric might marry Donna before his presumed death. And again, there's still this big question mark about whether he'll really die at all, because there are other doctors about to consult on his case. Fenn and Dr. Bridget Forrester and Dr. Martin, played by Big Brother 25 cast member Suri Fields. Also, as you guys know, they haven't bothered to tell us what he's dying of. So that's another red flag. He may not really keel over dead on us. We'll see how it goes. I'm kind of bored right now by this storyline on most days because it's painfully repetitious. How many times can we watch Eric cough and Donna simper without being irritated that they haven't named the illness? As I've said before, it's hard to invest in a plot when the writing's vague, messy, and dissatisfying. But the bottom line on the family mansion, unless Eric marries Donna, the house likely won't go to her unless of course, he's called in his lawyer and left her very specific things. Even without marrying her, he can leave her things in his will, like the house and his shares of Forrester Creations. Of course, the last time he gave Donna some shares, that was in a divorce, she did something pretty bad with them. So let's talk about that now as we dive into who will control Forrester Creations when and if Eric Forrester dies of this vague, fatal soapitis, sloppy plotitis, whatever it is. Way back in the late 80s when B&B began, Eric and Stephanie started Forrester Creations with a loan from her dad and a lot of dreams. So initially, as far as everybody knew, they co-owned it. But Brooke Logan was able to get 51% of the shares and took over as CEO. You can't really blame her because Ridge tricked her into signing him her ownership stake in Belief. Is spelled with like capital letters like Brooke and Logan and F for formula, I think. The beauty formula she created. You might not know it to look at her now, but Brooke was once a chemist. But years of gaslighting from Waffler Ridge may have dimmed her intellect a little. That's the only explanation I have. Anyway, a few years later, in 2005, there was another twist. They had Catherine Chancellor in a Y&R crossover say that the company was actually set up by her dad when he did the loan with the ownership in a trust because Stephanie's dad didn't believe that Eric would do what he said. He didn't trust him. So Stephanie was actually found to be the sole shareholder because all of this predated all of that. And Nick Maroney later blackmailed the family to sell Forrester Creations to him. And then in 2008, things shifted again. Eric regained ownership of the family design firm. He made Ridge CEO. He later fired his ex-wife, Stephanie Forrester. I don't think they were married at the time, but firing Stephanie turned into this PR nightmare. And then the company was hemorrhaging money. So Eric took out a bunch of loans. And Dollar Bill Spencer was there to make sure they were foreclosed on when they were 30 minutes late on a payment. He was basically blackmailing a banker, and he took over Forrester Creations and made it a Spencer subsidiary. So he was the sole owner. He put Katie in as CEO, and Donna and Brooke helped her run the company. But in 2010, Steffi got the company back into Forrester hands by blackmailing Bill. That was back when he and Steffi were first involved, before she ever got involved with Liam or Wyatt. He was married to Katie at the time, and he and Steffi were sneaking around. They were making out. They almost slept together. If Katie hadn't have shown up, they would have done the deed. She walked into the beach house. Anyway, so Steffi basically said, look, I know you blackmailed the banker to steal Forrester Creations from my family. I will tell Katie and ruin your marriage if you do not sell the company back to me for just a 10% markup on your purchase price. And of course, he was worried about Katie and her heart condition and everything. It was a lot worse back then. So he did it. So Steffi got the company back, and she divided up the shares. She could have kept it all because she got it back. But she gave 25% to her granddad, Eric, 25% to her grandma, Stephanie, and 25% each to her parents, Taylor and Ridge. So Eric, Stephanie, Taylor, and Ridge were each equal shareholders. But then Eric and Donna, who he was married to at the time, got divorced, and she got half of his shares in the divorce, 12.5%. And then later that year, Ridge fired Steffi, blaming her for something that Brooke had done that caused a scandal. But Taylor then gave Steffi her 25%, so he couldn't push her out. And that put Taylor out of the company. And then when Stephanie died, Eric got her shares of the company, which got him up to 37.5%, which was her 25 and his 12.5. And that made him the majority shareholder at the time. Donna, though, had sold her shares to Bill Spencer, but then he gave them back to Steffi as a gift when he was trying to woo her and make her his wife. So Steffi and Eric both now are equal majority shareholders. They own 75% together. They each own 37.5%, and Ridge owns 25%. So Ridge with all his big I'm the boss talk, he owns less than either of them. He's not the boss. So assuming Eric dies, if he left all his shares to Donna, Steffi and Ridge could still control the company if they sided together and outvoted her on things. But Eric could divide the stock and give Ridge 12.5%, so he'd also have 37.5% and be on equal footing with Steffi, leave Donna with the rest of it. But I would be really, really irritated if for some reason Eric leaves his share, say, to RJ, but doesn't leave any to Thomas or Zende or others equally deserving as family members, For now, whatever Eric's will says is going to determine the fate of Forrester Creations. I mean, he could leave it all to Steffi, but I doubt it. But he's had so much animosity with Ridge lately. I guess it depends on when he wrote the will. So drop your comments and let me know who you think Eric should leave his shares to, because that could change the fate of the company and the controlling ownership. I can see him leaving Donna something. Maybe the house, maybe a little bit of the company, but trusting her with a bunch of Forrester Creations shares, to me, is a bad idea because she didn't use good judgment in the past when she had some. So who do you think should have the majority ownership when Eric dies? Should it be Steffi or Ridge, or should Eric leave his part of the company to all his grandchildren equally, except for Steffi, who already owns a big chunk? So I love reading your comments. Definitely drop your comments below. And be sure to click subscribe if you haven't, and come back soon. This is Belinda from Soap Dirt, and I'm here talking bold with you 7 days a week. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.